Stacey. I love the name, the birthday suit. It's cheeky. It's cute. It's, you know.
You are the only other person that has ever called it cheeky aside from me. That's like my go-to word to describe it, cheeky.
All right. So what is the birthday suit? Tell our audience what you guys are all about.
Birthday suit is a full body waxing spa, hence the name the birthday suit. So yeah, it's just we full body waxing, gorgeous skincare, amazing waxers, amazing environment, experience, hairless, forehead down. We got you covered.
How did you get this thing started? Why? Why did you get involved in this?
So I've been in the skincare field for 20 some odd years,
Okay.
and Sex in the City really made Brazilian waxing commonplace, which is crazy, but thank you, Samantha. She made it not a taboo subject. So as I was an esthetician in Boston, we watched that waxing market start to really spin off. And I'm a good talker. So I was able to really thrive in that social game environment. And aside from people having their pants off, I love what I do, that's secondary. But so then when I moved to Las Vegas, I was working for a major cosmetic brand as an artist and an educator. And then when I left that brand, I went to work for a major waxing franchise. And I left after a year, not psyched about my experience. And I said, I can do this better. And my husband said, if you're going to wax regimes for a living, he's like, let's do this. So we started, over sushi one night. We still have the menu from the restaurant. I framed it and just brainstormed like bananas, just over and over. And then he wanted to call it wax on, wax off. And he wanted us to wear white scrubs and, and I said, no. And like very much Weekend at Bernie's moment, like in the middle of the night, I sat up and I was like, the birthday suit.
Oh my
and
gosh.
He's like, you're genius. So the whole thing evolved very quickly. And I looked at him because my husband's previous girlfriends have all been blonde. I'm obviously not. And I was like, but she's got to be a brunette. And so that's how it started. I go, girl jumping out of a cake and all that, and somehow she evolved into a redhead, which I'm not sure how. And that's how it started. And we really I knew I could do it better than anyone else because I had worked on both sides of it at that point.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a place where I would be a client, where I would want to work and just house it all. And so this thing came to life very quickly. We were dominating very quickly. Little things like our price point is still, even 13 years later, significantly less than anyone. And we have a children's lounge. So parents can bring their kid in and just, they sit and they watch streaming videos and play games and color and, while the parent is getting the service. And, we just have this no pressure, fun environment. And we're really good at what we do because waxing is all we do.
Wow. And so you started this company in 2011. So you have 2 franchise locations now that are operating, right? You have 2 company-owned locations, and so 6 franchises that are awarded. I'm curious to know what sparked you to franchise the concept, because you started franchising in 2022, right? So you were around about 11 years. So you're going great guns with your company-owned location. And then what happened?
So it actually started in 2013. We decided to try to franchise, and we went with this big FSO organization and gave them pretty much a house payment, like paid for a house with what we gave them. And it was a heavy 6 figures. And, we just trusted them. We went in blind and we didn't know. And we're like, yes, 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 yes. And then my husband went to the IFA that year in New Orleans, and he met all kinds of people, went to all kinds of roundtables, asked all the questions. And he comes home and he looks at me, he goes, we're not ready.
Wow.
We're not even close to ready. He's like, we're going to fail. And he's like, what do you know about this? I'm like, nothing. He's like, exactly. Neither do I. He's like, we're going to fail. He's like, we're stopping. He's like, we're brakes on, hard stop. So we go to these people and we say, we're not ready. We're not comfortable with this. And their thing was, well, we'll sell and figure it out as we go along. And we said, no, we will fail. And so they said, okay, well, you're obviously drinking the Kool-Aid at, the IFA. And so we're going to part ways.
Wait a minute. Hold on. You're drinking the Kool-Aid at the IFA and as a result didn't want a franchise. That makes absolute no sense to me. Why would the Kool-Aid at the IFA be that not to franchise? If anything, you learned a valuable lesson. And I'm so glad, Stacey, that you brought this up, because the job of an FSO they have one job, right? Sell franchises. And they wanted to, as you say, sell, sell, sell. The right FSO would better understand what you and your husband's goals are and understand what you're capable of operating, supporting, obviously training and supporting, as opposed to just sell, sell, sell. And that's an issue, of course, when anybody's looking at FSO, is to understand, are you in alignment with their objectives too?
Yeah.
So Stacey, there are a lot of listeners of folks that are looking to actually franchise their company. So I would love for you to maybe go back to when your husband came back, if you can remember, from New Orleans, what were some of the reasons that he gave on why you guys weren't ready?
We did not have the support team in place.
Okay.
We did not have the proper training manuals in place. Like, we had our in-house corporate manuals, but they were not the appropriate training manuals for a franchise. We did not have the marketing systems in place. We did not have the finances in place to support this sell, sell, sell. We were, for lack of a term, we're not mature enough to handle what they were trying to produce out of us. And we would have been overwhelmed very quickly and would have failed very quickly. And I think why they thought we could just sell, sell, sell and figure it out, because, 11 years ago, this was really when European Wax Center was exploding, and Lunchbox, which is now Prestige, I forget what they rebranded as, they were bought and rebranded, but they had just signed like a 10-deal thing in Vegas, and they were launching all over the country. And, and so this FSO was like, we're going to ride these coattails and sell, sell, sell. This body waxing thing is on fire. Let's go. And my husband's like, we aren't ready. Like, these people all have structures in place.
Sure.
We don't have a corporate team. We don't have a CEO, a CFO. We don't have any of this. He's like, we're not ready. If all of a sudden they sell 10 franchises, who's going to go train? He's like, you can't be at all 10 of them. We don't have the staff to pull out of here to go train 10 locations. Mm-hmm. We don't have the finances to go send 10 training teams out. We don't have the marketing strategies in place. We have none of this. And we're going to fail. And we made this decision, and the people said, okay, well, you're fired. Like, you want to be part of that culture? Mm-hmm. And the word really stuck with me, because I was like, I didn't understand what they meant by the culture of franchising. I do now, but that was their thing, was culture.
The culture of responsible franchising.
And unfortunately, I saw it like years later, I saw it with a burger brand that sold like bazillions of locations, and they offered their franchisees no support. And the owners and the founders of the franchises took all this money and ran away to Israel and left everyone hanging. And I watched them all. There was a bunch of them in Vegas. I watched them all close down very quickly. And so I feel like that's the kind of same thing that would have happened to us. And yes, it was gutting to lose that much money.
Sure.
But we definitely dodged a bullet, because we were able to maintain the reputation of our brand.
Right.
So it would give us that opportunity to do it again down the road. And we've definitely made some poor decisions over the road. We still were in that like guppy phase of yes, 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 like tell us.
Sure.
And we kept still spending money. But, then we finally just, after, a couple of years, we were just like, stop, like corporate, that's it, we're good. And then we made some great contacts through all of this, and the people that kept in touch with us and just kind of mentored us and talked to us. And we were looking at the trends of what was coming up and going to be hot in franchising over the next 5 years. Mm-hmm. And body waxing is the number one personal care, self-care service. And it's just really on fire right now. Self-care is on fire in general since COVID. So they're like, this might be the time to put your foot back in the water. So we went and we put together a very small boutique team. And we're still learning and still building and still getting advice and still moving at a very slow pace, because we want to make sure we're doing it right. And if it takes us 5 years to get to 12 units, oh, well, those 12 units are going to be so supported. Yeah. They're going to be so successful. I don't care.
Right. Stacey, I have a couple of observations I want to share. The first thing is that had your husband knock onto the IFA and talk to people, this story would have ended poorly. And tragically. The second observation I have is that most people that franchise their concept, you only got one shot at this. Mm-hmm. Most founders, like myself, sounds like you guys, you bootstrapped your company. So we don't have endless amount of capital. And most founders only got one shot. They have this pool of money that they built up. Maybe they're obviously cash flowing their company-owned location, or they did a friends and family deal. but most people don't get an opportunity where they lose 6 figures paying somebody else and to be able to make a comeback. And that's your story. You have a great comeback story because you understood that, yeah, exactly. Pat yourself on the back because you understood about franchising responsibly and how important that was, because your brand only gets one shot. Anybody can sell a franchise. There's no great skill in selling a franchise. Making a franchisee successful, profitable, having a great franchisee relationship, that's truly an art and a skill that takes a whole lot more than just having a franchise development person getting leads and be able to close the deal. So I'm very proud of you guys. That's great advice that through your experience and unfortunate experience, you got to share with others here on the show. Thank you for tuning into the Emerging Franchise Brands podcast. For additional insights, guest applications, and to stay connected, visit us at efbpodcast.com. The Emerging Franchise Brands podcast is for entertainment purposes only, and the views expressed do not necessarily represent those of Emerging Franchise Brands, its host Frank Fumey, or Emerging Franchise Group LLC. Any discussed franchise or investment opportunity requires thorough investigation, obtaining proper disclosure documents, and expert consultation before making any investment decisions. The podcast and its host do not offer professional advice or endorsements, and they hold no responsibility for actions, representations, accuracy, or consequential damages related to the podcast content.